Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is John. I mentioned at the end of my last video that I had a lot of playing catch up to do with books, reviews, and that's true. I'm trying to make progress. So I wanted to show you some books that I got from Princeton University. I'm always trying to keep people apprised of when they have sales. I think they have absolutely amazing stuff in their catalog. And 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think they had a sale. There was one upside to the sale. It was site-wide. It included all hardbacks, all paperbacks, all audiobooks, and all ebooks. The downside, I guess, if this is a downside, was that it was just 50% off and not the 75% off that they had in February, which was on a small portion of their catalog, maybe about 10% of it or so. I wanted to show you the ones I got a couple of weeks ago, and then I'm going to split the February one up. I promise I'm eventually going to show you that within the next couple of weeks into parts. In February, I ended up getting something like 20 or 25 books, so I'm not going to show them all in one video. I'll split it up into installments so I don't bore everyone to tears. But there won't be too much to bore you here because there's only 8 books, and 5 of them are by the same author. So I'll save those for the end. And I think one of the first 3 everyone will have already seen. Well, many people will have already seen. I'll start with that one. This is... Look at this. I mean, it's a bit intimidating, but it also just sounds fascinating. This is The House of Government by Yuri Slezkin. I've seen this on several people's channel, including Peg from the History Shelf and many other people. It tells the story of an apartment building in Soviet-era Russia that housed a lot of government officials, and how, as the months and years pass on, many of those government officials are disappeared or executed, or something just horrible happens to them, of course under the auspices of Stalin mostly. And it's just a look at the purges through the people who lived in this one apartment building. Draws on their letters, their diaries, interviews with survivors who seem to be few and far between, to be quite honest. Has a lot of really interesting photographs in it, and incorporates biography, literary criticism, architectural history, new theories of revolutions, millennial prophecies, and reigns of terror. Has absolutely spectacular reviews on YouTube, and I kind of just put myself in the hands of Princeton University Press whenever they show me something interesting like this. I'm just all theirs, and I love it. I'm here for it. So I also showed a couple of months ago a book called The Soviet Century by Carl Schlegel. Equally big and kind of along the same lines. Doesn't have the ties to the particular apartment building that the bureaucrats lived in, but it is very much like this in the fact that it is a sort of Soviet material history of the time. Looks like really, really wonderful stuff. Let's do the other hugely, yeah. This runs to almost 900 pages. This is by one of my favorite historian of ideas, intellectual history authors. This is by, if you can see, Jonathan Israel. Jonathan Israel wrote a 3-part history of the Enlightenment. Did he ever write a fourth? I don't know. I think it's just 3 parts. Um, and they are gigantic. They are 900 to 1,000 word pages apiece, and it focuses on really sort of the the nitty gritty of people like Spinoza, who he's a big fan of. And a lot of people, this is his sort of history of the French Revolution. The title is An Intellectual History of the French Revolution, From the Rights of Man to Robespierre. And with sort of the historiographical trends of the last 50 years, you have a lot of people attributing the French Revolution to social forces, economic forces, things like that. And he really sort of wants to excavate the whole idea that the French Revolution had a lot more to do with the pursuit of these sort of abstract ideas like liberty, freedom, the ideas that were really entrenched in the Enlightenment and were fought out in the French Revolution. So more of a, I guess, an intellectual history instead of a social or cultural history. Not that those two are completely able to be tied, unmoored from one another, but the trilogy, I have to admit, the trilogy that Israel wrote about the Enlightenment, I have not read all of it, but the stuff I've read is just absolutely mind-blowingly incredible scholarship. So if you're interested in just a thoroughgoing, it is not an introduction to the philosophy of the Enlightenment by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a superb one. And this looks a little bit more approachable because it's, I don't know how much it's going to talk about philosophers per se, but this just looked really good. So the last one, also not a terribly small book at 550 pages. I love this subject, and when I saw it, I knew I had to get it because I don't really see a lot of books that have this as a subject. This is basically a history of philology, not philosophy, philology, as in the study of ancient languages, literatures, and cultures. And the subtitle there is The Forgotten Origins of the Modern Humanities. I don't know how true that's going to be. To be honest with you, it kind of just looks like a history of philology from the ancient Greeks through, when does he end this? The 19th or early 20th century. So it's just kind of a sweeping history of how people have looked at texts, studied texts, ancient languages, and it kind of ties in with something that I read a few months ago called Forgers and Critics by Anthony Grafton, which I also need to review when I play my review catch-up game. So that's on the list as well. And then the next 5 books are all by one of my favorite 20th century history of ideas people. His name is Isaiah Berlin. And Princeton University Press has put out, as far as I know, it has to be pretty much everything that he published during his lifetime and after. I would be surprised if there's anything in this series of books that has something that he hasn't written and published somewhere. So these are 5 of the books that I haven't added to my collection. I have 4 or 5 elsewhere in the larger part of my library, but these are 5 more. So this is The Power of Ideas. They all have these sort of caricatures of him on the front, which I love. And this has, well, I'm not going to read all those, but I'll do a quick sort of, you can see the titles there. I don't know how well you can see that, but that's one of them. This is, okay, this is the political ideas in the Romantic Age. Another wonderful caricature. And this only has 4 major essays. It has politics as a descriptive science, the idea of freedom, 2 concepts of freedom, romantic and liberal, and the march of history, along with some end notes and appendix and summaries of the Flexner lectures, etc. This is the roots of Romanticism, showing him in his later years there. Let's see. Okay, so this has, in search of a definition, the first attack on Enlightenment, the true fathers of Romanticism, the restrained Romantics, unbridled Romanticism, and lasting effects. This is one of the more famous volumes. This is called The Crooked Timber of Humanity. These are all essays. He wasn't really much for writing standalone books. He just liked to, he was really good at condensing his ideas down into, short 40, 60, 80 page long essays, which I really respect and appreciate in a day and age where a lot of authors think that they need to make absolutely everything into a 300 or 400 page book, which is unnecessary, I think. So here we have the pursuit of the ideal, the discipline of utopian ideas in the West, the decline of utopian ideas in the West, Giambattista Vico and cultural history, alleged relativism in 18th century European thought, and Joseph de Maistre and the origins of fascism. The Crooked Timber of Humanity. And last but not least, here is Freedom and Its Betrayals. 6 essays on people he doesn't like, as you can probably tell by the title. And I'll tell you who they are by, or who they're about. You already know who they're by. Wow, I just noticed. Something really, really weird about this book. I'm going to have to tell Princeton about this. Oh wow. Why did I not just notice this? Oh goodness. Oh goodness. I've had this book sitting by my side for 2 weeks. And I thought I had looked at all of them, but apparently not. So this says Freedom and Betrayal by Isaiah Berlin. That is how you pronounce his name, by the way. And then when you open it up, you have the presentation page for a completely separate book called The Typographic Imagination by Nathan Shockley. And not only does it have the title page there, it has the contents for the book, that is not the cover of the book, and the entire book is not the book that it says on the cover. So somehow the wrong cover got on this book. Now I need to go back and make sure that, well, all the others had at least the right table of contents in them. That's so funny. I'm just now noticing it as I'm talking about it on camera. Well, I guess I'll have to call them and tell them about that. So, freedom and its betrayal. So those are the 8 books I got earlier this month when they had their 50% off sale. Like I said, I'm going to show you the ones I got from Princeton in February. It's just going to take a few videos. And also, make sure, if you love these university press sales nearly as much as I do, please check out my latest community post. I tell you about something that I learned from Vin at Revenant Reads. He posted it in our sort of community Discord server for Historathon 2023. It is a 50% off sale at not Princeton University Press, but Yale University Press. Everything in their catalogs. Absolutely everything. But you need a code. But in the community post, I show you the code. I even show you 6 or 8 books I've already picked out for you. If you like the stuff on this channel, you might like those books. So they're in my cart. They're waiting for me to just pull the trigger and wait for them to get here and show you when they do. So, yeah, here we go. That's a whole bunch of Isaiah Berlin and an imposter Isaiah Berlin. I'll have to fix that. But until next time, I will see you later. Bye.